Hello, welcome everybody to the last semifinals match for LCS Academy Playoffs Summer 2021. We're almost to the end here, gentlemen. It's been a long season, but this is it. We'll get to see the final team going in to Academy Worlds Finals up against Cloud9 Academy next week. I'll be your host for the day. You can call me Kangas. I got Joshi here. Joshi, are you wearing a tie? We said ties, right? It's kind of blending in.
There you go. There you go. A little bit of a better angle. You can see it.
Nice.
You got to make sure it's color coordinated, Kangas. I see. You got some big contrast going on, but there's a very clear color palette we're working with here.
See, I went with like the patterned shirt and the flat tie. You went with the flat shirt pattern tie, and I like it because Tim, our guest analyst, also did the same. So welcome to the desk again, Tim. 2 semifinals in a row.
Yeah, I can't. I'm having so much fun covering this stuff. I think we had a great series yesterday, back again for today, and I love that unintentionally we've got a blue team analyst and a red team analyst today. So we'll just roll with that.
I like how you started there. It's like I can't get away. I'm just stuck in semifinals limbo. It just keeps happening.
If you're going to keep making a content about Academy, Tim, we're going to keep bringing you onto the show. So that's the deal there. But yeah, I like the color coding as well. We wanted to brew our ties, do it up for the final shows here of the season. But we also got to do a recap of the season and how we got to where we are right now. So let's take a look at our Samsung SSD Fast 5 bracket here and catch up on some of the crazy stats. I'm still looking at Diamond, the fastest item in transformation. I've never seen a support get one in under 6 minutes before. I don't think I've ever done it in any of my games either, so that's just crazy. But Joshi, real quick, what are you seeing on here that's jumping out to you?
I mean, I think it's worth noting that you notice that most of our numbers on this board are pretty similar, right? You got Johnson, Team Luke, and Luger who have a little bit of separation between them, about 30 seconds, but everyone else is pretty close, except for Diamond, who has held that record this entire split. He's had it, I believe, since week 1. Right?
That was literally week 1, yep.
It's a full minute faster than everybody else. Like, what? I know they just lost yesterday, and Cloud9 made their way to, Academy Worlds Finals for what feels like the 3rd or 4th year in a row, but that's still impressive.
Live on forever.
Yeah, it's fun to see the stats from the teams that have been playing throughout the entire summer split. Of course, this is throughout the summer split, so not all these teams are still here. But let's take a look at the teams that will be competing today as we pull up our schedule graphic next and actually go over the games themselves. So, of course, yesterday, if you were watching after LCS, we did have FlyQuest up against Cloud9. But today, we got the other side of the bracket, 100 Thieves Academy up against Team Liquid Academy. And why not take a look at the whole bracket as well, just to round up the show, see where we got to, how we got here. 100 Thieves versus Immortals. They did take that one series in the quarterfinals, and they lost their top 2 spot, Joshi. Throughout the entire season, they were in the top 2. And then they dropped it right at the very end, but they still make it to the semifinals. What are we thinking right now about 100 Thieves?
Well, honestly, I feel like 100 Thieves have been looking pretty good. They've had a lot of opportunity to evolve ever since we saw them in Spring Split. Just seeing like champion pools changing, their strategies changing, seeing some opportunities where they were looking really good and then had a little bit of a slump, but are now seemingly back in full form. I feel like watching 100 Thieves has been kind of like watching Cloud9, and it's hard to tell exactly how good they are because sometimes they reach these insane peaks.
And Tim, I'm going to give the next one to you because they're challenging Team Liquid Academy. The second seed having a great second half of their summer run. In the last 3 weeks, they were 8-4, just kind of skyrocketing up into the standings and taking that top 2 spot. Talk to me about Team Liquid Academy. What do we expect from them coming into the day, and what are the major threats on the team?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like yesterday with FlyQuest Academy. We talked about how their roster has had to have different pieces moving in and out as the LCS, kind of takes the priority, and they're trying to figure out what works best for us at the LCS level. And Team Liquid, of course, had some roster turmoil. Jenkins spending time in the LCS, Armeo spending a lot of time in the LCS, and so the Academy roster has had to shuffle pieces in and out because of that. But now they're back to their original intended roster. You've got Jenkins and Armeo, who I believe are playing today. You have Harry, who's been anchoring it, and Jan and Ayla, kind of the bot lane that's been anchoring them the whole time. This is a team that has looked very, very good at times. You remember all the way back to the spring split, it looked like they might be the best or one of the best teams in Academy. It had really disappointing proving grounds. And I think they're on an arc this split where they're coming back into that form where the expectations are really high for these guys. Players to be really excited about. Of course, we are familiar with Jenkins and Armeo from their time in the LCS, even if you haven't been watching Academy closely. But Ayla is a player worth watching very, very closely. It was really hyped coming out of Oceania and being kind of a star player for this team. Harry has had a really strong summer split and really ramped up, I'd say, compared to he was fine in spring, but he was one of the better mid laners in the league this summer. So and Jan, kind of the younger, kind of the purest prospect, I would say, on this lineup, is somebody to really keep eyes on and say, could this develop into a long-term piece for the org? So a lot of things to be excited about there.
What are you echoing, Joshi, when we're looking at Team Liquid Academy? Is there anything that Tim's leaving out here, any crucial parts? And also, what do we expect from them in terms of play styles, how they're going to approach a best-of-5 series now in playoffs?
Well, I think Tim was pretty exhaustive with everything he was able to say there. The one thing I would say is that I feel like Ayla is one of these players that a lot of people look at as one of the best supports really coming out of the Oceanic region, now really showing what they can do here in Academy. And I believe it was Smax who said the only reason why this team isn't playing for Team Liquid is because they have poor JJ, right? It's hard to compete with one of the best supports in the entire world at this point, but it really sets up a lot of plays for them. And I think in terms of play style, we've actually been noticing that against 100 Thieves in particular, they've had a lot of early deficits and have had to really find these big plays in the mid game. So I'm kind of looking to see where these playmakers are going to be, and I'm really looking at Ayla and Jenkins for that.
And I'm happy that you mentioned specifically this matchup, this head-to-head, because throughout the season, we haven't seen these 5 players from each of these rosters against each other. Interesting to note, because of Team Liquid Academy and all the roster swaps that they had, their first series had Anori or Dokla in, their second series had Anori in. So now we actually get the 5v5 that we were promised going into the season. I can't wait to see it. But now let's talk about it from 100 Thieves Academy side. Joshi, I'm going to give this one back to you again here. Play style. What do we think of when we think 100 Thieves next?
Tenacity, Kenvi. I know Tim wants to talk a lot about these guys, but in terms of their play style, you have to pay a lot of attention to how these two operate in their 2v2. We've seen a lot of evolution of this over the past couple of splits, where Tenacity now, he's willing to play more tanks. He's able to play a lot of different things. It's not just the volley bear over and over and over. We're getting to have opportunities for them to actually go for more aggressive plays that'll really enable Kenvi to hard carry some of these games.
Yeah, it's really exciting with that duo, I think. When you look back to 2020, and they were playing 100 Thieves next together, it was a situation where both of them could carry, and they would really pair up to carry games as a unit. And then they came into Academy, and Tenacity has kind of pivoted his style a bit, and as Joshua was saying, brought in all these tanks, but still being super diverse in general, and played the carry approach. The Volibear was mentioned. He played a lot of Gragas at one point. He's brought out Malphite. He's played Lulu. He's played 17 different champions this split, and performed well on all of them. And I think he's really rounded into something. This is really good for his development going into potentially into LCS in the future. That he can not just have to be a high resource carry top, which he showed that he could be in the amateur circuit, but he can be kind of the stalwart, fill the role that needs to be filled. And Kenby gets to step up a little bit more and be the high pressure, aggressive kind of jungler, prototypical kind of young jungler that you would often look for.
Which is what we always identified with Kenby back when he was on 100 Thieves Next, the amateur program. And Tenacity now, 17 unique champs played in the summer. The champion pool has just exploded for this player, which makes it really exciting to watch them in pick and ban, because obviously they have a lot of unique approaches. So real quick, I'm hearing that we're ready for pick and ban. I want to go over predictions before we get into it. So Tim, I'm going to give this one back to you. Who you got taking the series? And if you're feeling extra bold, what's the final score outcome going to be?
Yeah, I think, we talked about Tenacity and Kenby, but the rest of the roster for 100 Thieves Academy is really good. I'm leaning towards their side. I'm going to predict them to win the series 3-1.
Okay, 3-1. Joshi, are you in alignment?
Call me a TL fanboy, but I think Team Liquid has a little bit of an edge here. We saw that even though it wasn't this exact 5 players, they still have the head-to-head record 3-1 over the regular season, and I'm going to predict the exact same thing here today. TLTF up, boys.
What
I can't believe...
Blue analyst.
Blue analyst,
okay,
but
Red.
Tim, you're the one with the Team Liquid jersey behind you, so I don't know if you can actually say anything about that right now. But I'll jump in as well. I'm in agreement with Joshi, actually. I do think the Team Liquid Academy is going to take this, but I do think it's going to go all 5 games. So strap in, everybody. I think we're in for the long haul, but I'm hearing that the casters are ready to take it away. So, gentlemen, we got Deserix and Crumbs on the cast. Let's get into it.
Thank you, Kangas, and hello. Welcome to the LCS Academy playoffs. 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid Academy. My name is Eric Deserux Beltran. Joining me is the man, the myth, the prophet. It is Alberto Crumbs Rengifo. How you doing today, Crumbs?
Hey, Deserix, I'm doing well. It's our first time casting together, and for a banger series at that.
Yeah, I'm definitely very excited for this one and how draft is going to shape up. I was hearing a little bit from Jan in some of his previous interviews about how much he enjoys having a two-way coach, that being Hack's Defender that they use. He is the assistant coach for Team Liquid as well. He was talking about how a lot of the draft gets traded down. You know, the two-way coach acts as a bridge between Academy and LCS rosters. So a lot of the draft that you see from Team Liquid gets communicated down towards the LCS.
Yeah, I've heard that
Academy.
from him as well, in that a lot of the credit that Team Liquid has given is to the coaching staff and a lot of their wins and being able to just give them a draft advantage. I think when it comes to playoffs especially, it means so much for a player to have confidence in your coaching staff, to know that they're going to draft you something and that you're going to go into the game with the right foot. Because if you start off on the wrong foot and it's a bad draft, your mental's already on the wrong track. You're starting to think that you're at a disadvantage. It's going to be harder to come up with an opening game that is strong, and that means that the momentum is falling apart. So opening up with a really strong draft, trusting the coaching staff is a big deal when it comes to
All right, so first man's coming out. Callista, Syndra, and Ziggs all taken off the table. Syndra targeted a little bit more towards Luger, who's been playing a lot of those bot lane abusive mages that we've been seeing in that ADC role.
You could say that all three of these TL bans are actually towards Luger.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive, right? Callista for him, the Ziggs you know is going to go into the bot lane as well, and so is the Syndra, so tons of respect towards him, and that means that your first pick has to be an AD carry for TL, because it doesn't make sense for you to target the bottom lane and then pass up on what you think is the fourth strongest pick. So TL pinching the bottom lane, and their game plan will probably revolve around abusing the bot lane, as the draft already indicated. On blue side, you gotta come up with a stronger proactive strategy, whereas on red, you can be more reactive. We'll see what 100 Thieves feels like doing. Diego obviously can be flex, but they're gonna go with something that is already really powerful against any potential dives that TL might be doing. We see a lot of the times people want to stack waves, crash a large 2-3 waves in the bottom lane, and then tower dive. Well, against the Leona, good luck. She's gonna be so good at both defending and staying alive.
What kind of surprises me is one of the champions that has slipped through this draft so far has been Xin Zhao. He's been very heavily prioritized by a lot of teams. He has 100% presence so far in Academy for that last week of the regular season, as well as what we saw in... Oh, I see it right now. I see it. Jenkins, that's the boy right there. He's getting his cannon.
And that is exciting, because this is already crazy team fighting for a Team Liquid. A cannon flank with Paranoia is so powerful. This is really difficult to get through, and they're going to just double down on hard engage and team fighting, and it's Jenkins' best pick. I think Jenkins has been a standout player all year long in Academy, in LCS, and it's fun to see that at first he was that one-trick cannon, but clearly expanded his champion pool, and now can even go back to his main champ and deliver on it, because guess what? Kennen is meta now. Some of the best players in the world are playing Kennen, both top, both mid. It doesn't matter. He's a really strong pick, and I think Jenkins is one of the best players in NA to pilot.
Oh, most definitely. He was very innovative when it came to Kennen, hitting the mainstream when it came to meta picks. And, of course, you can definitely rely on Jenkins. He does do a lot of 1v1s with Alfaris, discussing the meta matchups. So a very good communication there as we do head towards the second phase of the draft. Only Rel taken off the table thus far.
Rel, it's just going to be pairings that make sense for the hard engage for Team Liquid. And I still think you've got picks like a Nautilus available, the Alistar. You're not going to be able to burn through everything. You might even be able to go with a Braum if you'd like. So there's a lot that Team Liquid can still work within the support role. So I don't think Ayla's particularly worried. He's already proven to be an exceptional support, and all exceptional supports have a wide champion pool. Galio will also be rid of, so it's another combo that can work with Airy or Ayla too. So I think 100 Thieves is trying their hardest to break apart what Team Liquid's already piecing together. But right now, there's just so many viable picks that work with hard engage. It's difficult to really pinch that.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing from a lot of these bands. You know, the Galio and Rel that you were talking about. Just imagine what happens if you were to have those champions in a situation where, you know, look at the draft of Team Liquid so far. Imagine if that was drafted by them. One of the nastiest combos I remember seeing, CLG pulled it out sometime during the regular season, was Nocturne and Galio together. It is very hard to escape the dive of that, but 100 Thieves, they're going to respond. First grab is going to be the Gangplank over in the second phase.
Okay, GP for Tenacity, so he's probably going to be playing weak side into the Kennen, can sustain, can stay alive, but pretty difficult to play with when Nocturne gets level 6. Yeah, you can get those oranges out, but there's a lot of crowd control between the Kennen, the Nocturne, and they can run you down, so Tenacity is going to have to be on his game. However, if he gets ahead on the Gangplank, it's going to be lights out for a hard engaged competition because a Gangplank ultimate that gets laid out while you're trying to engage is so difficult to deal with. So this is a really strong pick from 100 Thieves that kind of fits the role that Tenacity has been playing for the past few weeks. Both a strong weak side player, but also the ability to hard carry.
Oh yeah, over in the amateur scene, that's kind of what we knew Tenacity as, that hard carry top laner, the Jace, the Aurelias. He really made himself a name with that. And 100 Thieves has been doing a good job of really messing with that pool and adding more to it, as Team Liquid are going to lock in the Lee Sin as well as the Alistair. So hard engage, Crumbs. Lots of hard engage coming out from Team Liquid Academy.
Yeah, lots of hard engage. But the one thing that is interesting to me about this TL draft is that you don't really have a strong early ganking jungler. The Nocturne does not fulfill that role very well. So the early game, despite being in the favor of the lanes for Team Liquid, can't really be abused because Armeo is only going to be very powerful at level 6. So I need to see him come up with either creative gank path or be super active at level 6 and effective. Because if those ultimates don't go through, 100 Thieves has drafted a lot of defensive, peel back compositions that make it really tough for TL to just dive head in. They hovered the Orianna, thought about it, landed on the Cassiopeia instead. And much better to deal with a lot of champions diving in because Kennen just wants to go straight at you. Same thing with the Lee, same thing with the Nocturne. A good Cassiopeia ultimate or even just the group on the ground is going to be enough to stop a lot of the action that TL is looking to start.
Yeah, it's going to be a great tool for dealing with what TL have. And Ryoma being on the Cassiopeia, it works really well with his champion pool as he has been playing a lot more of those control mages as of lately, as with everyone else, but he was one of those to start shifting much earlier than we saw with other people. And what this really gives for 100 Thieves, what's terrifying to me for Team Liquid Academy to have to deal with is if this gets to the late game. Late game GP, late game Tristana, late game Cassiopeia, those are all nightmares for Team Liquid Academy to have to deal with.
Yeah, the Triss is going to be a big problem because of her range. There's not a lot of range harass that Team Liquid has. They have to go in, and there's no middle ground between that. It's up to Yeon to actually poke away. But just yesterday, we actually saw Tristanas get pretty creative with the atomization to deal with situations where they're getting poked out. Instead of rushing those Infinity Edges, getting Bloodthirsters. Instead of getting just a Phantom Dancer, getting a Wit's End. So I think that the players are wising enough to what is most important in a single game. And if Luger does that, then the late game for 100 Thieves should be fairly secured. But you can never underestimate the effectiveness of being able to engage and flank out. It doesn't matter how far behind TL can fall. If they find ways to teleport behind 100 Thieves, to attack from multiple angles, Petrifying Gaze is not as effective. The Gangplank can't chain multiple barrels, and so TL's hard engage can always find a way to engage as long as they strike and break apart 100 Thieves formation.
Now, in this early game, I want to ask what you're going to be looking at particularly, because for myself, I'm going to be watching a lot towards the jungle matchup. I want to see how Kenby is going to interact with some of these solo lanes in Ryoma and Tenacity. Made kind of the meme before about Kenacity and their duo synergy that they always have up there.
Canacity, yeah. I mean, if I'm Jenkins, I'm typing that one. I'm typing Canacity in all chat, maybe putting my little tent emote in my wheel game. But what I'm looking out for in this game is most importantly just how the lanes play out more than anything. Because in the opening matches, I'm always remembering. Oh, wait a minute.
Already.
Nice
Early Zenith Blade.
Yeah, so the reason why I look at the early laning is just because I want to know what the attitudes of the players are towards each other. Because oftentimes inside a single game, after the game one, whether it's a win or lose, the players are asking themselves, how was that lane? Right? How's your counterpart playing? Is he doing well? Is he doing poorly? How are you feeling in your particular matchup? So I think this often ends up determining the outcome of the second draft, and it really comes and goes with the confidence that the players are having. So I need to see who's feeling like they're having a really good day, and then we'll start to see the strategies devolve or evolve in the best of 5.
Now this is an interesting exchange going on. First blood out of nowhere in the 1v1 versus Ryoma. Harry biting off a little more than he can chew.
Oh, as I say, the lanes, man, you gotta watch the lanes. These lanes are gonna be action-packed, and so that's already first blood going to Ryoma. That's a really big kill early on. Now the Cassiopeia is gonna be problematic. You got yourself a problem in your hands. The one saving grace is that you burn the flash. You burn the flash. So now our Mayo can find an avenue into this, and he has to do it before level 6 because it's gonna be too late for Cassio's flash to remain off cooldown if he just waits to farm to 6 and then ganks. But he has his own flash. Fear could land the kill on Ryoma, and so now the attention for both teams should be the mid lane.
And a pretty strange little mishap there for Harry, because he normally is one of the more safer mid laners. He doesn't die that often. He is spectacular when it comes to CSing. He's a lot of where TL's economy goes. So a great start off for Ryoma to be able to get that kill, and another one for Jenkins. Get the 1v1 over in the top side. What is going on with these early 1v1s?
Yeah, we got action in these lanes, all right? We're getting spicy. These teams are testing each other out, and he's answering back for Harry's mistake. Because now we get to see a replay from a T-Tours of this. So let's see how it actually plays out, if we can tell what abilities went down. Because if I remember correctly, he got greedy by landing a Q and thought, hey, I could do this. But you can already tell there's way more minions here. And yeah, it draws minion aggro. I think the minion aggro might have ended up making the difference, but regardless, probably shouldn't have taken that because the wave was pushing back in his favor. And as Lee Sin, you just want to start spamming those shields early, especially before Cassio has the tier, in order to win the sustain war.
Yeah, kind of having a little bit of the Lee syndrome there, resulting in Harry going down in the 1v1. He did have that trade over in the top lane, so 1-1 apiece for Team Liquid Academy and 100 Thieves Academy when it comes to these solo lanes. So far, not too much intervention when it comes to the jungle side.
You know what's interesting about that 1v1, now that I think about it, is that probably would have been Harry's win if it was the Cassiopeia before she got the slight buff to the poison, the Fangs. Twin Fangs got a little bit of extra damage when the target was poisoned, and a few less points of damage onto Harry could have made him be the one to be aggressive. So here comes an attempt onto mid, but this is so obvious. This will never... Oh, no, this won't work.
Yeah, he just straight up goes for it, gets the stun. It's a lot of damage coming in. That's actually, it almost works. So low is Ryoma, but the punish is made. Harry goes down. Ryoma will get the kill. That is 2 up early for Ryoma.
It really was so close. I was completely caught off guard with how much damage they were able to pump out between the Ignite, but there's sustain on the Cassiopeia that barely keeps him alive, and a really good miasma that stopped Harry from immediately following up. That made the difference. Now you can see Ryoma is already playing so far back, making it so difficult for the combo to happen in a really viable position. And so the extra healing from the Twin Fangs, from the Conqueror, just keeps him alive. And now Ayla burned both summoners, and that means that now it's going to be up to Poom to find an opportunity to play mid, because he's got both up, and it's now expected of the support to find something and not let Ayla just go around making plays and nothing happens.
This is pretty terrifying as the engage is going to come in. Ayla trying to play defense as Boom goes right after Jan. Armeo is on the wings, but so is Kenvi. Kenvi flashes in, goes after Ayla. Ayla falls. Will be the first one to drop in this fight. The exchange still coming through as Kenvi tries to play defender. Will be able to use that spectral form, get the knock-up off the head, but the flash forward, he will not find Luger. 100 Thieves will get the better of this exchange.
So close, but 100 Thieves is doing so well in reacting to what Ayla just did. You saw that the cow burned summoners. You knew there was a play to be made against the Alistar, and they find it now. It was really close. They could have lost the game, or at least the early game right there. Losing 3 kills this early would have been huge. And the wave. But they stay alive critically, and now they can rest easy and get back to the laning phase. TL is going to continue to be bloody, though. They know that there's still opportunities to play make, but 100 Thieves thus far has been answering so well. Mechanically, they have been outplaying TL, except Tenacity. He kind of lost to Jenkins.
Over in the mid lane, so many kills onto Ryoma, considering he is going to be that late game factor. a terrifying fact to have to deal with. He does have his tier now, so it's going to be that much harder for Harry to have to deal with. You know, you get that sustain of mana, the harassment that comes in with the Twin Fangs, especially when being able to land the poison. You have some roaming coming out of Ayla, who's trying to find some setup on the Rift.
But now it's going to be much harder to find Ryoma. His flash is back up again, and while Ayla can use the Hex Flash, that Arm Guard itemization is so effective for Cassiopeia right now. It's not only going to help stop Ares damage, but if Armeo starts to join the party, his damage is also going to be mitigated. So he's going to stay alive in the mid lane. It's going to allow him to play that much more aggressive, and he even has the Leona in the mid lane. Look at those pings, question marks in the mid lane, because Poom is just shadowing the man. He's thinking Ryoma has been the focal point of this game for so long. I'm just going to stand behind here, and maybe someone tries to gank him again, and I'll be here to react. There is a lot of vision for 100 Thieves, however, so just standing here, it's a little bit of just hoping that TL is playmaking, and that they're also standing in a mirrored position, because both teams have so much vision in this area that the only viable opportunity to find each other is if they're both behind their mid lane.
So Poom's staying there for quite some time, just really watching onto the mid lane, and is going to use this to get the rotation off over towards Rift Herald or Canacity. I'm already putting both of their names together. Rakenvi's already started that one up.
I'm loving it. I'm loving Canacity, man. I think they should make a duo queue account and then just name themselves like Canacity 1, Canacity 2. I think it'd be great.
I'd definitely love to see it. They have that much synergy. Came out of 100 Thieves next together around the same time, so they already got that working for them.
Yeah, and the synergy between those two not only was communicated as Tenacity was pushing the lane, but with Boom staying in the mid lane, rotating top, allows him to get the first move over Ayla. They get the Rift Herald, and at the same time, since Ayla and Yeon did not have much vision on the bot side, they couldn't make a play against Luger. Luger, despite not having any summoners, was able to crash in and cash in the whole minion wave, and so he's fine. Good rocket jump. Not in Nocturne range.
Oh,
he got it.
Hurts, but he's still going for it. Paranoia comes out, going right after Luger. Here comes the Buster shot. Cannon Barrage is going to do a lot of work to stop Yon, making this a 1-for-1 exchange. But over the wall comes Kenvi, going to throw it firmly in the hands of 100 Thieves for a team fight win.
Now that was a play that Team Liquid needed to make a minute ago. A minute ago, they needed to dive Luger, but by now, 100 Thieves has already taken the Rift Herald, and they are so ready to respond to this great buffer by Luger there to stay away. Young continues to walk. They finally get sight of the Tristana, but this is Trist with exhaust. The new meta of AD carry makes it so difficult for them to be dove by these early bruisers, and so Tenacity gets a kill. That's a nice one for a gangplank, just casually getting one in the bot lane, and then Kenvi gets the knockdown kill, which gets chained into a free dragon. That now is a sequence of events where 100 Thieves got the Rift Herald, got the dragon, and 2 kills for it for a single death. So worth it.
And they got so much momentum on their side, because the one thing I keep bringing up is the scaling that they're going to have for the late game. This is rocket propelling that scaling really early on, because look at where the gold's going. You got a kill on Tenacity, you got 2 kills on Ryoma, and now you got an engage in the bot lane. Here comes the Solar Flare onto Yan, tries to exchange. Ayla will get the headbutt pulverized to stop that engage. Luger and Poom are just going to back off, but not without one more parting gift in that piercing arrow.
That was really close. Poom could have died there. They don't have heal, they don't have the exhaust, but they go for it because they know that Yeon doesn't have Chains of Corruption yet. It's back up now, though, so it's only going to allow Luger to push in this minion wave, and from then, we'll see what Poom chooses to do on the map, because they could choose to just wait in the brush, and that'll be scary enough for Team Liquid, but they can always just recall if they really would like to, and so looking for these all-lanes at the very least maintains pressure on one side of the map, and if you now pair up Ryoma with Kenvi, which is so well timed, these two roaming together, this could now be a dive, and with a Rift Herald, oh, it's going to be damaging.
Oh, this is going to be so terrifying. So much vision on this side of the map. Armeo going to deny some of that by using the Paranoia. Goes right after Poom. Cannot finish him off. Yan can, though. Out goes the Chain of Corruption. It did land on Luger. Going to buy some time for 100 Thieves to not have their ADC. For Team Liquid to be able to take a team fight win and take down 2 members of 100 Thieves.
Really well played answer by Team Liquid. Now, they committed a lot of people down there. They're expecting a lot more out of 100 Thieves, and so when Poom got turned on, they knew they had to bail out, and so Tenacity just stays in the top lane, is now farming this minion wave. It was really unfortunate for Team Liquid, and it looked like 100 Thieves rather, and it looked like they didn't expect Armeo to be in the bot side of the map, because had they just blast coned over and no Nocturne would have been in range, that's an easy dive. With a Rift Herald, you get multiple members. Double TP, caught them off guard, and especially when the Nocturne ultimate comes out, they can't use their own teleports either. So there was no chance of going for that. And Nasty didn't even have the ultimate, so 100 Thieves just get caught off guard, and TL answered.
One of the things Joshi always loves to talk about is cheating tempo, having that Nocturne. Actually, gotta hold that thought because here we go and engage onto the bot lane. Behind is Howard Porion. Not long for this world as Luger will get the kill on the bot side.
Oh, maybe Alistair can make something? Nice!
Headbutt Pulverize, able to land it before Luger gets his rocket jump. There's the stun. He will find it. Needs a couple more autos, though. Just over 100 health for Luger. He heals up to about 200. Puma provides the protection, and Rift Herald provides the extra manpower needed to take down the mid lane tower. Get one more charge off into that tier 2.
Barely out of turret range. Luger lives, and so that's an easily clean kill from 100 Thieves, and that's just a big heads-up play from Poom. That's a classic solo queue move if you've ever seen one, where the support or the jungler are waiting in the Krug's brush for the bot laner to return, because you know that the support is probably off roaming or doing some other shenanigans, and then you pounce. Great move from Luger as well to flash in to ensure that he could land the slow from the rocket jump. The extra damage came in clutch. Otherwise, you know that had he not landed that, Young would have gotten a bit more DPS off, and then Alistar would have finished the job.
Now, we have another 30 seconds before these plates do fall. And what I'm going to be curious about is when we do get towards the team fighting phase, when we start seeing 5-man skirmishes over these neutral objectives, over stuff like Dragon, Rift Herald, even the Baron, because that is a place where we're going to start to see Jenkins shine a bit more. If he can get those slicing Maelstrom flanks. That's attempting to kick Jenkins. It's going to be Poom and Kenvi, but there's a ward there. Make sure it's spot out.
Now, every top laner will obviously love to take credit for their amazing flanks. But the reality is that most of the time, those flanks are credited to the teammate that places the wards, right? The teammate that identifies where the fight is going to happen and what they think Jenkins is looking for. So the rest of the squad has to not only push in, but find a way to plant a ward behind the carries of 100 Thieves, and then have Jenkins TP. And now the Rocket Belt will allow him to attack from the front if he really finds a good opportunity, but it's going to be up to Ayla and Armeo to group up and find a ward for the Cannon to teleport. Otherwise, 100 Thieves right now just has more firepower than TL. They've got 3 mythics completed. Triss is about to finish hers as well, and so this dragon should be a no contest. Team Liquid is in the area and potentially thinking about it, but unless they get a fully coordinated engage, it's going to be rough. Paranoia can be really powerful here, but wait a minute, 100 Thieves is actually just opting out of it. They'd rather take the extra gold. This is them saying, we trust our scaling. We know that we can fight you later on into the game, and we've got no problem just ensuring that we're stronger and more certain of our victory.
Yeah, kind of surprising they would just concede that, but yeah, they do have the scaling on their side, and you're going to see that over in the top side. Tenacity was able to get that tower by himself. Does have the Divine Sunder done. We'll start scaling, we'll start getting terrifying, and speaking of terrifying, there's the Petrifying Gaze! It's followed up beautifully by Kenvi. Ryoma will get a kill on the Harry.
It just 100 Thieves continues to make better trades than Team Liquid on the map. They're getting the Rift Herald as well, so the Dragon was traded for this. They crash the top wave, get the turret, and now they're also going to get a tier 1 into the bot lane. And now this Rift Herald, they could pop it in the mid lane and already secure that tier 2 since the damage has already been down there. Or they could just follow Tenacity. And at this stage in the game with the tier 2s, you could even get a base turret charge on these, an inhibitor turret charge rather, and that can be some serious damage because we've already seen that a lot of these games in the Academy, Deserex, are turning into some backdoor shenanigans, and having a Rift Herald do some damage in a Nexus or an inhibitor turret this early on can set the tone for pressuring an enemy and just having them always think about the possibility of a gangplank just staying in a lane and being so annoying.
16 minutes into this game. Leading by kills is just going to be 3 over to 100 Thieves, but the big thing here is the gold they've been able to acquire throughout this. Taking down 3 turrets to 0. Team Liquid haven't really got much when it comes to objectives, only getting that 1 dragon. It's been 100 Thieves who have been more active on the map doing plays like this as they go after Bob Jenkins. Solar Flare does land. The whole combo is going to be there, but no damage to follow up. Jenkins will be safe.
Surprisingly accurate by Poom, but at the same time, there's just no angle. It's a TP from Lee. Here we go.
Here we go, teleport coming in. Harry looking to join the battle, goes after Luger, but there is that exhaust stopping Harry's damage. Paranoia goes through Poom on the flanks, looking at the shield of Daybreak, gets all that layered CC in, but Ayla is being that defender, is holding the line, making sure his teammates stay safe. Team Liquid will be able to back out.
Man, Ryoma has been so powerful this game, just from that first blood and then the 2 kills. They just can't deal with him. Jenkins got deleted off camera by Ryoma. The Rift Herald gets popped into the mid lane with a Trist. It's going to be the tier 2 guaranteed. If it gets a charge up, oh, it's going to get it.
And here we go. Another engage comes in. Ayla with the headbutt pulverized goes right after Kenvi, and Kenvi will fall. Now the rest of Team Liquid trying to deal with Luger. Luger a little bit unchecked. Goes after Armeo. Will rocket jump over the wall. Get to safety. Shelly gets off another charge as Tenacity now holds the mid lane. Sees Yan in his sights. Continues the chase. Ayla will be there to provide backup if needed. So Yan will be able to get out. Jenkins now on the flank. So is Armeo. Nasty and Ryoma, they're deep behind enemy lines. They're starting to realize that as the engage comes back in. Here comes Jenkins. Bob Jenkins waiting for that slicing maelstrom. There it is. We'll get one stun. Will absolutely melt Ryoma, but Jenkins has to flash away to be able to keep his life. So does Tenacity. Armeo will shut him down. Luger rejoins the fight. Over the wall will get the kill onto Armeo. A wild skirmish crumbs between both of these squads, but Team Liquid, they still have some fight left in them.
That was so close, and they had that fight because Jenkins still had ultimate. He died so quickly in the earlier fight. He's just looking for an opportunity. Let's take a look at how he got the lead. So this is first when Poom finds him, right? Just gets a stun, and he's like, all right, well, that's enough. That's fine. But then what does Ryoma do to him? Because he just gets mauled. I think it's probably just an ultimate, a petrifying gaze that gets Jenkins. Again, the classic, the snake in the brush trick.
It is the saddest way to see him go down, but that's part of these picks that you don't see that often. You're not used to playing against them.
Yeah, Cassiopeia is just so devastating when you've got somebody that can constantly threaten that they're gonna ulti you, and she's back in the meta. She really is, but it hasn't been so relevant in Academy. Not a lot of players have been favoring the control mages, and yeah, this play was nuts from Luger. Flashing into 2 people. Luckily, he had the Buster Shot available to keep Armeo out of harm's way. And here's where I felt like I would have liked to see Ryoma chase a little bit further. I see him moving hesitantly because there's a TP coming through, but he still has the stopwatch. Jenkins cannot one-shot him, as we saw earlier. And so he overextends here by himself, now feeling like he can be confident, but it's already too late. He's put himself too far out and ends up giving a 950 gold bounty over. It's fortunate for 100 Thieves that it went to Armeo. You know, the Nocturne really won't be the carry this game.
But he's going to show up over in the bot lane going after Ryoma, and Ryoma gets death number 2 after having such a promising start, too.
That's a really big caster, Chris. The second I say, oh, Jenkins, Nocturne won't be the carry, instantly pan to Ryoma getting killed by Armeo, giving over a dragon. Ryoma, you got to step up. You know you're the target, all right? You don't have flash. Team Liquid knows that this is an easy target. You don't even have boots, okay? They're going to go.
He does have his hourglass, so if he does get chased down like that, it will be able to buy some time, but he's got to be able to utilize those resources. He's getting a little bit hunted down and bullied by Team Liquid in the later stages of this game.
What Team Liquid tried to do ever since the flash was burned at level 2, but they failed many times before. Those 2 kills are going to be substantial, especially because they got the dragon, but it is a long climb back to an even footing here for Team Liquid. They're going to be mostly benefited by taking not 5v5. So because all of their members have ways to start a fight, it's actually going to be fairly easy for them to find members in the side lanes looking for vision and try to engage as quickly as possible and then get out. You don't want a fair fight against 100 Thieves, but now it's going to be for 100 Thieves to recognize, hey, that is what Team Liquid wants to do. How can we prevent this? Well, you do it by pushing out your side lanes and then grouping up together and ensuring that you have vision and you don't get instantly comboed as well. Because despite being down in gold, Team Liquid and looking for those one-sided fights won't hesitate at comboing multiple pieces together and taking a 5v5 if it means everybody is crowd controlled.
And it's a little bit of the flip of what we saw in the early game as well, because what we saw out of 100 Thieves was they weren't going after the 5v5s, they just wanted the quick skirmish kill and get out. You saw it earlier with the Dragon that Team Liquid were able to get. 100 Thieves didn't want to test that fight, they didn't want to try their luck with some of the team fight tools that Team Liquid have. Now they're getting in the later stages of the game. Now they're getting online. Now you got the scale in going, baby. You got a 2-item gangplank over in that top side with Tenacity. Now having the Collector completed as well. 2 items over on your jungler as well. There's a lot of tools for 100 Thieves. There's a lot of resources they're able to get in the early game. And now they're looking for more as they start a Baron.
Oh, no one suspects it. They just saw fog, though. If they're looking at that control ward, they would know, but it's too late. Ryoma's so strong. 100 Thieves sneak a Baron in front of Team Liquid, but just barely out of sight. And now they have this major objective that's going to be so crucial to them. It doesn't cost them a thing. No one lost minions in any plays. That is a wonderful use of Cassiopeia. And Deserex, I think you were spot on. Clearly, Team Liquid is unfamiliar with the power of this champion. Not just in the laning phase, not just in face checking in brushes, but the fact that they've forgotten how quickly she can do Baron. At 20 minutes, you can 2-man it, and that's exactly what 100 Thieves did.
Ryoma's looking pretty good in this game thus far. He has normally been one of the more aggressive mid laners. He's a big fighter, likes to fight, usually leaves lane with the gold lead. And we're seeing him do some pretty good performances in this game thus far. He's scaling well. We saw some mishaps happen as of recently, but he's still a big factor in this game. He still brings a lot of damage to the table, and that's why that Baron was enabled, as we now see 100 Thieves marching towards the mid lane, forcing the recalls out of Team Liquid. This inhibitor tower doesn't have much HP. It's going to be an easy take for 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves doesn't commit so hard to it because they didn't know that Team Liquid had 3 members on the bottom just trying to catch somebody on the side lanes. But they don't know that, so they can't hard commit. They could have gotten an inhibitor if they just hard pushed right there. That's the luxury we have as viewers. We know what's going on the map.
Here we go. Teleport being used. Jenkins is looking for the flank. Here comes the paranoia. They don't know where Jenkins is, but now he's going to show up. Here comes the slicing maelstrom. It's only going to land onto one. Tenacity will drop before the team fight even begins. Chain of corruption goes for the backline. It's going to stop Poom, who uses his Zenith Blade to get onto Yan. Piercing arrow still going through Yan so low as Kenby tries to chase him down. But Ayla is going to play defense and play it so well. Jenkins falls. Tenacity falls. It's a trade of top laners in this last team fight.
I think that trade is going to slowly benefit Team Liquid simply because they're going to be able to stop an inhibitor going down. Luger will take this tier 1, but I think they can find enough resources to commit to defending this. But Ryoma commits to TP and makes sure that they can get value out of this. That's a really smart move out of him. They get an inhibitor from that fight before Team Liquid could group up to defend. He could have chose to save that, could have just left it right there, but using the TP right before the Baron expires means that they get maximum value out of that when Ryoma has been playing really well this game.
Playing so well. Great attempt out of Team Liquid to start this. They really try to utilize that paranoia to grant Jenkins a way to get in. Thing is, Luger was too fast on the trigger with that flash and got himself to safety in a fast manner.
And on top of that, because Jenkins was expecting Tenacity to go into the top rush, he wasn't in a position for him to be immediately ready to respond to him flashing into the Gromp. And so he has to commit the dash and the flash, and that doesn't allow him to catch multiple members out. He already uses everything for a single kill that just gets traded so much damage back.
Oh, Jan, wrong place, brother. Luger's just gonna eat him for breakfast. Made it look so easy, and now you're down in ADC, a very crucial one at that, when 100 Thieves are already in your base, but here comes the engage, gonna try and make this a trade! Tenacity! My goodness, brings in a lot of damage in return. Almost able to get a kill, but will fall. Look at the base, though. 100 Thieves, they're knocking at the door. Ayla trying to find some defense, but Luger is free farming away on towers. Now Armeo tries to go in. Jenkins tries to find the flank. Going to use the Protobell, but Buster's shot stops Jenkins from doing any team fighting. Armeo going towards the fountain now as Luger. Rocket jumps in, gets a couple of shots onto Harry. Jenkins Still trying to land some of those shurikens. No longer has that ultimate to work with. Ryoma punishes him, taking down Jenkins. And it looks like 100 Thieves are going to take down the rest of Team Liquid. Armeo going desperately after the backline, but Ryoma has flash and Luger has a gun. He blasts away over at the jungler, but will eventually be dropped by Jan, who gets the defense working for him. Harry shows up as well, looks to get the finishing blow. Will he be able to score it onto Ryoma as Teleport comes in? Tenacity wants to continue this fight. A lot of low health bars, a lot of danger. One barrel could mean the end of either of these players over on Team Liquid. Tenacity now on the hunt to try and close out the rest of this team fight. Will land the parlay. Dragon's Rage makes an easy disengage, but a very tight fight for Team Liquid.
100 Thieves was just going for the throat. They wanted to end it right there because they saw multiple members attacking Tenacity. They thought, we got a Tristana, let's do this. But TL does a good job in not hard committing for the fight, and instead it clears out the minion wave. And so 100 Thieves now is faced with, oh, well, they're low, maybe we could disengage, the wave is coming up, but then they linger around a little bit too long. Ayla finds a good combo, gets both carries, and now 100 Thieves feels like they have to commit. They have to stay in this fight. Armeo gets Ryoma to flash away, and even though he ends up going down for it, it keeps Luger interested, which means that Yeon can take him out for a triple kill. They even get Ryoma on this one. So TL pretty happy with that defense, but they're not thrilled about their base being in shambles. One more fight, one more push from 100 Thieves. If they can get a Tristana in that lane, means it's game over.
This could be it right here. 100 Thieves looking to start off this Academy playoffs in style, as they have a lot of vision in the jungle of Team Liquid right now. You can see that vision really being piled on the blue side jungle of Team Liquid, starting up for that Baron, which will be spawning quite soon. 5 seconds, so that's on the Rift.
They're going to be able to just fast rush this, but Team Liquid just uses the Scryer's Orb from Yeon right now. They see that it's not started yet. Once it's cleared, though, see what 100 Thieves feels like doing, because they still have Cassiopeia in Fog of War. They're controlling Baron vision. 100 Thieves just wants to take a fight. They're not so interested in the Baron right now.
Come on, 100 Thieves are really strong right now. They do have a 7k gold lead working for them. On a lot of that money to the targets they've absolutely needed to. The battle lines are drawn once again. Team Liquid afraid to engage forward.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
have the crab. Still looking for more. Piercing Arrow goes out. Will not pop the veil that you have on Ryoma.
Okay, Harry just showed top. He just cleared the wave. So now 100 Thieves feels like maybe they can group, find an opportunity to try to rush something down, but they haven't cleared out the vision. There's not a lot of control wars for 100 Thieves, and they know that losing a Baron here could be detrimental for their game state. Despite being down 7,000 gold, they know that TL can still fight. They can still win if the carries go down, if the fight is in the synergies that Team Liquid wants to stack together. So they're being very careful here, making sure that they don't get jumped on. Instead, they'll move towards the dragon, but TL is trying to maybe pull a sneaky one of their own by trying to rush Baron down.
Oh, going after Poom, knocking down to about half health. Just clearing out the wards over towards Baron. You saw Jenkins going towards the flank, looking for that team fight play. 100 Thieves going to be the wiser to it. Just going to take the recall now. Your main engager falling to about half health. They need the reset on him.
That's fine for TL. The inhibitor just spawned. So now there's less pressure on pushing out the mid wave. There's no longer supers that take so long to take down. So they're going to be able to claw their way into the mid lane again and fight from this position. This is a dragon that they have no need to contest. They know the value of this game right now is going to be around that Baron. That will determine the pushes that will allow TL to maybe even get a game-ending push if they get a right fight with Baron as well. Despite them being down 6,000 gold, it's still the objective that will determine the fate of this game.
Yeah, I very much echo that thought completely. I don't see Dragon Soul being a win condition for either of these teams. This game is ending on the next team fight. It's a matter of who can find it. You're waiting for Boom. Be able to get that engaged as Team Liquid start up the Baron. 10k health remains. 100 Thieves are aware of it. You still have Tenacity in the bot lane doing the split push. He has Cannon Barrage available, so he can be impactful in this team fight. 6k health now remains. A lot of damage on the side of 100 Thieves if they want to bring this forward. 3k health remains. Kenvi yet to jump. Out comes the Solar Flare, and there's the Paranoia. Now coming over the wall is going to be Kenvi. They're going to try and focus him down before he can get the smite on, and the Baron goes over to Team Liquid. They take down Kenvi as well. Petrifying Gaze will not find the mark. Harry will be able to turn his back in time. Team Liquid being very cautious with their next steps forward. Get the stun onto Puma. Harry having to back off. Ryoma's getting lower and lower as Team Liquid start to feel the momentum shift onto their side. They march towards the mid lane. Luger gets caught with a piercing arrow, doesn't take too much damage though, as Team Liquid, they're not dead yet, Crumbs. They are not dead yet.
I think 100 Thieves was just so surprised that Team Liquid had such confidence to go for that play. They just said, yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it in your face. It's
I'm
slow,
surprised.
too. Right? Like, it was crazy. They just decided to go for he doesn't get the buffer.
Chain of Corruption! Chain of Corruption is going to land, but out comes the stopwatch. More damage on the Luger, but he will not fall! He will dodge the piercing arrow, and down will go Yan. That is your entire bot lane fallen for Team Liquid, as Tenacity will continue the chase. Lands the barrel, gets the slow. Harry trying to run away, has the safeguard, will be able to hop, but 100 Thieves are marching into your base, and Team Liquid have to defend.
They have numbers advantage. It's 5-on-3, but there is a Baron and Paranoia, and Jenkins has Flash and Ultimate. So if TL wants to fight for their lives here, they can absolutely do it. But 100 Thieves is going for their second attempt to end this game.
They're going to end it. They don't have that many minions, though, so you are going to have some extra defenses, but Luger doesn't care at that stage of the game, and Ryoma doesn't give a damn as well as he takes down Jenkins. Armeo goes for the dive. Is it going to be all for naught? No, Armeo will find Luger. Nexus is exposed, though. That's 2 down as Armeo continues his fight. He goes right after the Nexus, trying to defend it. Poom wails away. Kenvi wails away. The piercing arrow lands its shot. Team Liquid are trying everything tooth and nail to get this defense. A double kill coming out for Yan. A triple kill. Team Liquid, they defend the base.
What is happening? What is happening? 100 Thieves just overcommits. I thought they had it. And then they
Oh my
died.
god, I thought they did too.
Dude, Harry kicked Ryoma into the laser. He lasered down Ryoma with the Nexus. Okay, what is going on with 100 Thieves here? Because they don't have a minion wave. Armeo does a good job with his Q, taking down the minions, and then Ryoma just does so much damage. So much is going down, but look at him. He's chasing this down. He needs to peel back with the team. Harry, with a beautiful kick flash, eliminates Cassiopeia from the equation, and from that kill, now TL is strong enough. A beautiful combo from Ayla there. Gets 3 people, the Fear as well, stopping the gangplank, and then Yeon spawns. By this time, there's just no way they have enough damage. Their flash, everything's trying to be poured into this Nexus, but now this game is just back to even. It's just up to who gets the next fight.
And Crumbs, everything you mentioned over to the fountain, definitely pivotal, but if you watch the back end of that, Armeo dives deep for Luger, and he actually gets the kill onto Luger, stops the ADC from being able to auto down that Nexus. So many close calls for Team Liquid in that last fight.
True, Armeo was critical. Getting rid of the Tristan, I would think of the Cassiopeia damage. Trist is obviously the highest DPS into objective, so Armeo, Harry, the whole squad really doing a great job there in defending that, and Jenkins didn't even get the ultimate off. That's what's ridiculous about the defense. But 100 Thieves has to be feeling the pressure now. They've been in the driver's seat all game long. In fact, they've tried already twice to end this game, and twice has Team Liquid stifled it.
We're going to see the power of Yan as he gets towards these later stages. Now the Paranoia over towards the top side. Jenkins looking to follow up. They make it look easy. And that is a very crucial pick for Team Liquid. That alleviates all that side lane pressure and gives a huge advantage over if they want to contest this next Dragon fight.
There was no vision on the Nocturne. There was no deep wards, and so the Gangplank gets surprised. He doesn't think that that's happening, that Armeo is going to collapse, but Armeo can actually juggle himself between the main team and the split pusher. It's already level 3 ultimate on Nocturne. He can be in both lanes.
Well, I can't believe we actually got to this next Drake. It has spawned, and we're going to be at Drake point for both of these squads. Now we're going into the late stages of this match.
Yeah, that is where the tensions rise, and especially for a game 1, I think this is actually the best game 1 you could possibly have.
Yeah.
That is pretty sick that it's come down to this. it means going to the finals, right? This is the most important game for a lot of these teams. It just guarantees that you were so close. An attempt onto Yeon. He does have Cleanse and Flash.
Trying to find Jan. He will be able to flash away. Now the teleport's coming out. Dual teleports. Team Liquid are going to try and find the engage right here. Jenkins trying to lead the charge. Out comes the Cannon Barrage, going to provide some isolation. But look at Ayla! He goes for the backline. Finds Ryoma. Ryoma in trouble. Has to go golden to try and buy time. But Jan has his number with that piercing arrow. Harry continues the chase. A lot of damage onto Kenby. Kenby has to back off. And it's Team Liquid, Crumbs. It's Team Liquid in the driver's seat.
Dude, I want to highlight Ayla. He's having such a good game on the Alistar, but you're so right. It is Team Liquid. All of them have been showing up at multiple times. Team Liquid is doing so much to delete 100 Thieves' hope of winning this game. One way or another, they've continued to fight back and stay relevant here. It all started from that one Baron fight, but let's take a look at this. So immediately, 100 Thieves tries to engage, but I think this is a faulty engage. This is never the way the composition was intended to fight in the first place. Dashing into someone is not what 100 Thieves can do. They can't follow up. And so when they commit multiple members to try to catch one of the most slippery targets that Team Liquid have with Cleanse and Flash, it's so easy for Team Liquid to double commit the TPs and chase down because the Leona is out of position.
Oh, and here we go again with the Baron dance. Only Poom on it this time. Hopping over the wall will be Harry. Tenacity standing 5 members strong with this squad, 100 Thieves. On the opposite side of the rift, Team Liquid looking to take this game number 1. The piercing arrow lands into Ryoma, taking about a third of his health. They are going to clear away those minions and regain control of this Baron pit. Make sure that 100 Thieves are always terrified of engaging towards Team Liquid, of walking towards this fog of war, of dealing with the chain of corruptions, of dealing with the Bob Jenkins flakes, with the paranoia. Team Liquid are trying to utilize these tools as best as they can to secure this Baron and lay down 100 Thieves.
And those tools are really sharp now. Yeon does so much with those piercing arrows, especially if he's finding the appropriate targets. A single arrow, bam, you get Ryoma's Banshees. Another one, now that means he's 1/3 chunked, and Armeo can now combo Paranoia, because that's one good thing of the Banshees. You can stop yourself from being blinded, you can still maneuver around the fights. But if it's so easy for the Varus to remove them, then now Cassiopeia has to play so much more scared of the knockdown engage. Oh, Yeon's out of position.
Oh, Jan in a very tough spot there. Will take the sidestep. Here comes the Sentence Blade. But look at the paranoia. It's buying time for Jan. He will be able to survive. Now the engage comes from Armeo. Armeo gets too low, too fast. Jenkins slicing Maelstrom onto 3. The resurrections are coming through from the Guardian Angels as Jan is able to take down Tenacity. Kenvi runs away. Sonic Wave gets him. Harry with the kill. Luger now trying to run away, but there's another Sonic Wave as a slippery man is gonna be Harry. Team Liquid march onto 100 Thieves. One more stands between them in game number 1. That man is Luger. That man is slain. That is the ace. Team Liquid with the victory.
I'm feeling euphoric for TL. If there was ever a feel-good win where you earned this, where you hard fought for every single bit of advantage you had, it's this game. TL absolutely fought back against 100 Thieves' early advantage, and they proved that they deserve the opening match. Boom cannot be enough to defend this. Team Liquid will start the game with a win, and the morale's gotta be flying so high for them.
40-minute slugfest. Team Liquid from the brink of defeat with their base in shambles. They bring it back for game number 1. And what a comeback it was, Crumbs. That was wild when 100 Thieves were in the base of Team Liquid, man.
Twice, man. Oh, TL just did so much this game. This was an incredible opening. This really was, I think, the best game to start a series. One of the best I've ever seen, absolutely. Especially for Academy, it's been a roller coaster. And I think Team Liquid just has to be feeling so good about themselves from that win. It was really impressive the way that they continued to defend. And more so than that, I think that individually, a lot of players made outplays. They really showed up when they came to having faster fingers than 100 Thieves, and that led them to the win.
And to utilize their tools so well, using the paranoia to allow Jenkins to set up, Ayla always going for the back line. Jan, some questionable positioning here and there, but at the late stage of the game, you know, that's the question of, did I die though? No, he didn't. He stayed alive in those later halves of the fights, and Team Liquid ultimately coming up with the W in game number 1, but that's just one game. If that is game number 1, I am afraid of what these next games have for us, Crumbs, because that was intense.
I think it's a kind of a fear of like a roller coaster, because it's gonna be really wild. Oh man, it's gonna be wild. If 100 Thieves can get the win or the lead, and then TL has to fight back for it every single time, I'm all for it. And I think for 100 Thieves, they just need to remember how their composition plays out and not overstep. I think they really overstepped when it came to pushing too much and not suffocating Team Liquid and preventing them from finding the engages. I think that is one aspect where I think they can review this game quickly and say, all right, we just need to play our composition a bit better in the way it's meant to be played. And also that Baron. That was partially Team Liquid's really good shot calling that just caught them off guard, but also they needed to defend that much sooner and give Team Liquid the respect that this is something they can do.
All right, well, we're going to throw it over to a short break. Game number 1, that was Slobberknocker. You're not going to want to miss the rest of this best of 5 series. When we return, the analyst desk with Kangas will catch you up on what just happened.
Verizon believes everyone deserves the best. That's why we start with 5G from America's most reliable network.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Then give families plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need starting at $35.
You get so much more than this, a great network.
And offer the best in entertainment on select unlimited plans, like Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, as well as Discovery Plus, with a Galaxy S21 Plus 5G when you buy one. There's no reason to settle for less than the best. Only from Verizon.